Welcome to United Home Healthcare. I'm Elizabeth Atkins. The No File Left Behind program is an automated system designed to capture the essential information needed to enroll a new patient as a United Home Healthcare client and recipient of services. When enrolling a new client, which usually takes place by phone, the information will be captured by the United Home Healthcare Intake Coordinator on the intake referral form. Once the information is gathered, the intake coordinator will input the information onto the No File Left Behind system. In order to access the system from any computer, log onto the internet and enter into your browser the following information: www.uhhcmichigan.com. When you press the Enter key, the UHHC logon screen will display. Enter your individually assigned United Home Healthcare email address, unique password, and then press Enter or hit the Login button at the bottom of the screen, and the current workflow stage screen will display. The following areas can be accessed from the toolbar at the top of the screen displays: My Account, where you will sign on and log on to the Nflb system. Patient Chart lists the total number of patients in Nflb, including those who are active and non-active. Case Stages, where intake coordinators advance a client enrollment from one case stage to the next. Patient Survey, designed for customer service purposes, primarily in contacting the clients on a monthly basis. Calendar, where appointments are set between intake coordinator and client. Administration, for management usage, and Log Off, to sign off of the Nflb system. When opening a new case, the first step is to access the Case Stages tab, which tells the status of each particular client on a day-to-day basis. In this stage, this screen is where you push or advance the file through to its completion. The following stages are a standard part of every open process. 1. Press the New Patient Intake tab on the right side of the screen, and Collect the Caller's Information screen will display. 2. Enter the patient/client information. When complete, press the green button to continue with Collecting Patient Information tab in the middle of the screen, and the Patient Information screen will display. All fields except the email address are mandatory. If information is unavailable, fill the field with zeros until you obtain the client information. For example, if the client is unwilling to give the Social Security number over the phone, you can obtain the information in person during paperwork signing, then return to the system and overlay the zeros with the actual Social Security number. Upon completion, press the Save/Continue tab, and the system will return to the current workflow stage screen. Go to the Add Care Providers green tab on the right side of the screen and press Enter, and the person's entity listing will display. Then, enter the following information. Do not click the Save Person Entity Info button yet. Go to the Select the Type of User Entity area on the right side of the screen and press the down arrow. Select Caregiver from the following drop-down box. After selecting Caregiver, press the Find key and the list of clients will display. Use the down arrow to the right of the listing and scroll down to the client you have just entered. Click on the Add Address field and the Save Address Info will display. Enter the caregiver information. Press the Save Address Info tab, and the Case Stages opening of a new case will be complete. Hit the red X on the right side of the screen, and the system will return to the Case Stages screen. To access the client you are adding, go to the patient's last name field beneath the United Home Healthcare toolbar. Enter the patient's last name and hit the Find key, and the current patient will display. Click on the View Chart/Apply Patient Other Information tab beneath the client name, and the Missing Paperwork/Medical Needs screen will display. In order to click the patient personal information, click on the Modify Chart Info and then enter the client personal information. Go to the Modify Chart Info tab on the left side of the screen, press Enter, and the patient information screen will display. Click on the Collect Info tab individually for each field, and Save the Address Info subscreen will display. Note, you will need to return to this screen to add subsequent information within each category. To add the patient address information, click on Collect Info tab, and the Save Address Info screen will display. After entering all information, press the Save Address Info tab at the bottom of the screen, and the system will return to the patient information screen. To add the patient insurance information, click on the Collect Info tab, and the Save Insurance screen will display. Note, anytime a client has Medicaid and Medicare, Medicare will always be primary. To add multiple insurances, go to the Select Insurance Type drop-down tab at the left side of the screen and select the type of insurance. Upon completion of adding the desired insurances, press the Save Insurance Information button at the bottom left of the screen, and the information will display on the right side of the screen. Once you've verified the additions, go to the red X at the upper right of the screen, and the System to the Patient Information screen will display. To add the assigned caregiver information, click on the Collect Info tab, and the listing of the patient's care provider screen will display. In order to select the caregiver, you will have to have already entered their information at the Case Stages Workflow screen under the Add Care Providers tab, which is the green tab on the right side of the screen. If you have not entered the basic information on the Person Entity Listing screen, you will need to fill in this information on the above screen by selecting the Caregiver option under the Person Entity Listing screen. Then, fill in the following fields. Once you've finished entering this information, select the Save Person Entity Info tab in the lower left hand of the screen. Save the information and a blank screen will display. Note, once you have completed any option, only push the Save Person Entity Info tab one time. Pushing this button multiple times will result in creating a duplicate file, which can only be deleted by the system administrator. Always be sure that all information is correct. Return to the Person Entity Listing area and select the Caregiver or Contractor option. Click on the Find tab in order to enter the caregiver's address. To find the record you're working on, scroll down through the caregiver listing. Once you've found the record, scroll down to the particular caregiver you just entered and click the Add Address option. Under the user's full name/action area of the screen, hit the Add Address tab, and the same address information screen will display. Enter information in the following fields. Once you've saved the information, click the Save Address Info tab, and the system will return to the Person Entity Listing screen. To continue to the next area, click on the Case Stages tab at the United Home Healthcare toolbar, enter the patient name, press the Find tab, and the current workflow stage screen will display the patient information that you're working on. Then, click the View Chart/Apply Other Patient Information option, and the patient information screen will display. Select the burgundy-colored Modify Chart Info tab on the left side of the screen, and the patient information screen will display. To add the assigned physician information, hit the Collect Info tab to the right side of the screen, and the listing of the patient's care provider screen will display. Click the appropriate doctor based on the earlier choice made at the Add Care Provider screen. Hit the Apply key, and the system will return to the patient information screen. Note, once you've completed this option, you can only press the Save Person Entity Info tab once. Pushing this button multiple times will result in creating multiple duplicate files for this individual, which will have to be deleted by the system administrator. Be sure that all of your information is correct the first time, because once you've entered it, you cannot go back. Upon completion, the Person Entity Listing screen will display. Click the Add Address option, and the Save Address Info screen will display. Please fill in the following fields. Click the Save Address Info. The system will save the information and return to the medical provider section of the Person Entity listing. Now we have to connect the doctor to the patient. So select Case Stages from the United Home Healthcare toolbar, and the system will take you to the current workflow stage screen. Go to the patient's last name area, input the patient's last name, and click the Find tab. The system will then display the patient information. Select the View Chart/Apply Patient Other Information, and the patient information screen will display. Then select the Modify option on the left side of the screen, and the patient information screen will display. Go to the Assigned Physician Information area, select the Collect Info option, and the listing of Patient's Care Providers screen will display. Select the doctor assigned to this patient by placing a check mark in the box next to the doctor's name. Select the Apply option, and the system will return to the patient information screen. To add the patient medication information, go to the Collect Info portion of the screen under this option. Then the pharmacy name/medication name dosage screen will display. Enter the following information there. Note, you must have the pharmacy name in order to enter this information. Once medication is entered, press the Save Medication button, and the entry will display on the right side of the screen. Note, this screen will only allow one medication entry at a time. You must enter medications individually. To continue the process, a blank screen will display where you can continue adding medications. Upon completion of adding all medications, select the red X in the upper right-hand area of the screen, and the system will return to the patient information screen. To add patient emergency contact information, press the Collect Info portion of the screen under this option, and the full name, contact, phone/email address screen will display. Enter the following information. Upon completion, press the Save Emergency Info tab, and the information entered will display on the right side of the screen. After you've completed entering as many emergency contacts as needed, press the red X in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and the system will return you to the patient information screen. To add the patient miscellaneous housekeeping information, go to the Collect Info portion of the screen under this option, and the Question for Patient screen will display. Tab to the Answer from Patient field and answer according to the nature of the question, either yes or no, or the system will prompt the necessary information. If you should enter information and need to correct it, please tab to the Edit field where the information will display, and you can make the necessary corrections. Please enter your answers in the following fields. Upon completion, push the red X and the system will return to the patient information screen. To add patient hospital admission information, select the Collect Info tab and the hospital name, admit/discharge date, and reason screen will display. Enter the information as follows. Upon completion, hit the Save Hospital Admission Info tab and the system will display the information in the right-hand portion of the screen. If the information is incomplete or incorrect, select the Edit tab in this same area and complete the information that should be edited. Once complete, select the red X in the upper right corner and the system will return to the patient information screen. As part of your daily workflow, you will need to complete the following tasks. Missing paperwork/missing medical needs. The client will let the intake coordinator know that the medical needs form is ready, and United Home Healthcare in turn will schedule an appointment to visit the home and get the paperwork signed. Returning back to the office, search for the client. Go to the case stages and search for your particular client for the purpose of pushing the client through to the next stage. Go to the patient's last name field and insert the patient's last name and push the Find key. All clients having the same last name will display. Scroll to the client you're working on. Once you've located that client, go to the right of the screen and select the workflow area. Also, you'll find the Missing Paperwork/Medical Needs form screen, which will display. At the Extend field, within the system there are dates assigned. If the target date is not met, you can extend the date here. Once a patient is input, the system will generate a date based upon an expected completion date. If for any reason the date needs to be extended, it can be done in this area. The rationale for the extension should be included in this area as well. Note, you must complete and finalize this section in order to proceed. Finalize. Once this is done, the system will return you to the current workflow stage screen. The patient's name will still be in the patient's last name field. Pending final. Click Find and the list of patients with the same last name will display. Scroll down to the particular patient name and click on the workflow area of the screen and the Pending Finals will display. Once the caseworker is assigned to the client will receive a letter from DHS advising the client of the caseworker assigned to their case. The caseworker will either send out a letter, place a phone call to schedule an appointment, or make a pop-up unscheduled appointment to collect all of the necessary information. In this step, the caseworker gathers all necessary information to make a determination of approval or denial. In the instance of a home visit, whether scheduled or not, the intake coordinator must be present at the home visit. Enter the DHS submitted date based upon the DHS drop log sheet. Pending Open. This is where the client is awaiting the letter of determination to determine whether a patient is qualified to receive in-home healthcare assistance or not. If they receive a letter of denial stating the reason why they were not approved, the client has 90 days to appeal the decision. Upon request, United Home Healthcare will send the client a hearing form. The client must indicate that they wish to have United Home Healthcare represent them, and then they must mail the form back to United Home Healthcare, where we will complete the areas of the form as designated. Then, United Home Healthcare will send the completed form to the State of Michigan's Department of Community Health. In most cases, if the client is approved, they will receive 2 letters. the first of which is the actual approval letter advising them of their start date and the amount of pay that United Home Healthcare can expect to receive. The second letter is the statement of employment, which provides a breakdown of everything the client is approved for. To get to the pending open area of the program, go to Case Stages, go to the Find area, and put the patient's last name. Once the patient's name is located, hit the Workflow area and the Pending Open screen will display. The client will contact United Home Healthcare, advising us that they received a letter from DHS of approval or denial of services. If denied, the letter will state the reason why. We will enter the approval or denial in the Select Case Status field. The Notes field is designated to capture any information needed concerning missing paperwork. Extend. Within the system, there are dates assigned. If the target date is not met, you can extend the date here. Once a patient is input, the system will generate a date based upon an expected completion date. If for any reason the date needs to be extended, it can be done in this area. The rationale for the extension should be included in this area as well. Note, you must complete and finalize this section in order to proceed. Finalize. Once this is done, the system will return you to the current workflow stage screen. The patient's name will still be in the patient's last name field. This information will be found on the letter of approval and the statement of employment, indicating the date on which services will begin. You'll receive an email either from United Home Healthcare Customer Services or Accounting. It will contain a list of new patients. Once assigned to your team, you will need to notify the State of Michigan's Department of Human Services main office in Lansing, Michigan. The purpose of this notification is to determine the patient's respective ending dates. Open. Once United Home Healthcare receives payment from the State of Michigan, the client file is considered open. This concludes training on the No File Left Behind system. For United Home Healthcare, I'm Elizabeth Adkins.